Zebra Family channel. If you have not subscribed, please click the like button, share and subscribe. It's free.
Now, sir, yesterday, I did not get your answer very clear. I think it was because of the interruption which I experienced when I wanted to know the reason why you decided to take that bag which was containing this firearm, despite the fact that it had a broken seal, when you had earlier on testified that you would not receive a bag with a broken seal. I did not get your reason. Can you please repeat it if you please?
Isolo besengizele ukuthi usithathele lesasikhwama ebesesivuliwe ukuthi usicacisile ukuthi mina nizamukele ikhwama esesivuliwe.
My Lord, the reason why exhibits are brought to the lab in sealed bag is to contain or to maintain the chain of evidence from where the firearm was collected or from where it was collected. The IO or the LCRC member will put it in a sealed bag and send it to the lab so that there's no tampering with the exhibit all the way. Now, in this instance, the firearm is under police custody. It's at the SAP. I booked it out, not sealed. If the police officer goes to the SAP in any other investigating office, they will also find the firearms not sealed. They will seal and then send it to the lab. So I went to fetch it. Why must I seal it so that I can open it again? If I receive from the SAP-13, it's not sealed. If they receive them from the SAP-13 also, they are not sealed. They are the ones who seal it. So why would the SAP-13 clerk seal it? I don't see the reason why must they seal those firearms.
Are you asking me those questions?
I'm answering the question.
This is and then this is I think it is also in the Isfalis is valisise bese ngiyothi kufika la ngifika khona ngiphinde ngizifule. So isibonisa ukuthi ngikwenze lo.
Let me make my question very clear again. In your testimony, you have asked you pertinently about the situation of a bag which has got a broken seal that contains an exhibit that is sent to the forensic science laboratory, to the ballistic section thereof. Then you specifically said, no, you would not even accept it. Now, why did you accept or take this exhibit to the forensic science laboratory when you could see that the seal thereof was broken? That's my simple question. Specifically this firearm.
Isolo ubuzile wamphendula umbuzo ukuthi uma uletha isikhwama esesivuliwe kini nanenza kanjani asusenza asisamukele leso sikhwama manje ke lana uthi usithathile lesi sikhwama sesivuliwe ubuza ukuthi njengoba usuchazile ukuthi anizamukele ikhwama evuliwe lesi usamukele kanjani.
But the original case of that firearm was finalized, so the firearm was destined for destruction. So there was no need for them to seal it. When I received it, it was not sealed, and I understand why it was not sealed. So if it was maybe the IO who collected it to send it to her, he will collect it unsealed and then he will seal it and send it to her.
That is sleepy. So, besingasekubela isidingo sokuthi isibhamu lesi siphinde sifake isikhwameni ngoba ngaleso sikhathi lesi sikhwama lesi kwakuwukuthi bafuna ukuyoshabalalisa basiphelise. So bengasayiboni isidingo sokuthi ngiphinde ngisifake isikhwameni.
So the reason why you specifically took this firearm is because you see no reason why it should have been sealed again, because it was designed for your destruction. That is your reason.
So this is what
sorry, before you answer there, Mr. Interpreter, you forgot to mention that this witness says the Cleveland case was finalized. You forgot to mention that.
I did mention it.
Oh, you did mention it?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. If you did, no problem.
My lord, I don't see the reason why the SAP clerk will have to seal the firearm if it's destined for destruction.
Angibona isizathu sokuthi siphinde sifake isibhamu lesi esikhwameni kuwukuthi bese siyoshoda laleli.
Yeah.
So without laboring this point, I'm going to put it to you that Mr. Muchali came and told this court that he would also not accept an exhibit that is not sealed in his possession. So in other words, when he took over this exhibit from those that he received from, he made it a point that it is sealed, and it has been sealed according to him when he received it. When you received it, all of a sudden the seal is broken.
So if there's an objection, we submit that there's no obligation on this witness to answer to that proposition as it doesn't accord with the evidence that is on record of Captain Muchali.
I'll come and demonstrate, my lord, what Mr. Muchali said. But nonetheless, let me proceed. I'm just, on this point, I'm putting it in abeyance. I'll come and proceed on it. Because I specifically want to demonstrate that what I'm putting across this witness, I'm sucking it. It's there, that's what Mr. Muchali said.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now you said the reason for the sealing, just some 3 minutes ago, the reason for the sealing of a bag is because is to avoid the contamination and the tampering, and there's just no reason why the SAP 13 should reseal an exhibit bag. That's amongst others what you said, not so.
Also, ukushiloka ukuthi sifakwa izinto zifakwa lapha ezikhwameni kwenzela ukuthi kungabi nabazoguqula okuthize leso sibhamu ukuze kwazi ukuthi uma ukuthi sisavalisekele akukho ukuguquka okwenziwe kuleyo nto efakwa isibhamu esikhwameni anjalo.
I said I do not see the reason why the SAP 13 clerk would have to seal the firearm that the case has been finalized and the firearm has been destined for destruction.
Chairman, I'm going to clerk SAP 13 business fagelani isibhamu esikhwameni sivalisise ukuthi bekwaziwa kahle nje ukuthi hayi besisashatshalani.
Now sir, back to your version. You're saying on the 20th, you went to Cleveland and received this firearm in a bag which had a broken seal.
Mhla 20 lapha eCleveland uyothatha isibhamu esisikhwameni ebesisivuliwe.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. Now, and you found that bag in a broken seal. You found the firearm in a bag which the seal thereof was broken.
Uthole isikhwama isibhamu sisesikhwameni esasisivuliwe.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo.
Thank you. Is it normal? Is it procedure with regard to the handling of firearm exhibits to put them in a seal bag, and then thereafter person then says I've got no obligation to seal this bag although there's a firearm inside?
Indlela ngayo yena ukuthi uma ke kuwukuthi ke isibhamu sibe sifakwe esikhwameni esivaliwe bese ke kuba khona ophula leyo la kuvalwa khona lapha esikhwameni ukuthi sivule igcine sesivulekile lesikhwama ukuthi nisamukele.
In other words, why would a firearm be put in a seal bag and in a forensic bag and the seal thereof be left opened.
Engakusho futhi isikhwama singabe kanjani esikhwameni esiyi-forensic bag bese-ke emva kwaloko-ke siyeke singavalisisi.
My Lord, the case was finalized. The firearm was collected from the lab in a sealed evidence bag. It went back to the SAP-13. I cannot speak for the SAP-13. It might be because they were changing it from SAP-13, or maybe they were doing inspection. If you are doing inspection of a firearm that is in a sealed bag, and the firearm is, the case is finalized, you'll open the bag to confirm that this is the right firearm. So it might be that they opened the bag because they were doing inspection or something. So I cannot speak for them. Why did they open the bag?
Ngikwazi ukubakhulumela ukuthi babesivulelani leso sikhwama. Uma ukuthi ufuna ukuhlola ukuthi sibhamiswa ngempela yini, uyaphoqeleka umusiwazi ukuthi icala sesiphelile, usingayivula uvulela ukuthi ubone ukuthi yisona yini ngempela isibhama. Kodwa ngikwazi ukubakhulumela.
Now you can immediately hear yourself speaking. You say maybe, you can't speak for themselves. You also don't know what happened. So your answer is just a speculative hypothesis.
But the question asked to me is, why did I receive it in the open bag? Why the bag was open? I don't know who opened the bag, and I don't know what the reason why they opened the bag.
Ukuthi yini ngisamkelile isikhwama esivuliwe, angazi ukuthi basivulele ngikwazi futhi bakhulumela.
Thank you. That is the point. You don't know who opened the bag. You don't know why the bag that was sealed at the forensic science laboratory when it arrived at SAP-13 got broken. For what purpose was it broken? What happened after it got broken? How was the firearm handled immediately after the seal was broken? All those things you don't know them, not so.
Awazi ukuthi ubani owavula lesi sikhwama, awazi ukuthi yini indaba lesi sikhwama SAP-13 sasivulekile, awazi ukuthi kwakuyini inhloso yokuthi sivule lesikhwama, awazi ukuthi lesi sibhamu saphathwa kanjani emva kokuthi sivule lesi sikhwama. Imibuzo ongakwazi ukuba nempendulo yonke.
That's correct, Lord. I don't know how it's open.
Yebo kunjalo, angazi kusavula kanjani.
Thank you. And you also don't know in whose hands this firearm landed after the seal bag thereof was broken.
Ukuthi awazi ukuthi sagcina sifike ezandleni zikabani lesi sibhamu emva kokuthi isili lena isidabukile.
I don't know.
Hayi, angikwazi lokho.
Thank you. Now, against this background that you do not know, would you still say that the sanctity of the preservation of this firearm was guaranteed or was preserved?
Ukuthi-ke manje-ke kwakugciniwe yini ukungaguquki kwalesi sibhamu emva kokuthi sivuleke leso sikhwama, sivule leso sikhwama.
But the case of that firearm was finalized, so there was no need to keep the chain of custody proper if it's in the SAP-13 and is distant for destruction.
Uma ukuthi-ke ngoba icala leli lase livaliwe singesekho isidingo sokuthi sigcinwe leso sibhamu ngaphansi kwe-SAP-13 ngale ndlela yokuthi sihlale sivalelwe.
That's not my question, sir. My question is on the basis of the fact that you said there are a lot of things that you do not know relating to the handling of the firearm. Why was it broken? When was it broken? For what purpose? In whose hand did it land? Against that background that you do not know, as a forensic expert, a ballistic expert, would you then stand there with a straight face and say, the sanctity of the preservation of this firearm was still clear?
Njengoba kuzimbuzo omningi ukuthi isibhamu sathathwa uba sasivulelweni, savulwanini and ngasiphi isizathu. Njengoba ungenazo-ke iy'mpendulo lapho, njengomchwepheshe weze-ballistic ungasho ukuthi-ke ukungaguquleki kwesibhamu kwakusagciniwe yini?
I don't know.
Thank you. Now, thank you, sir. When exhibits are brought to the firearm, no, forensic science laboratory, I'm sorry. A firearm, let us narrow our forensic science laboratory, the ballistic section. When exhibits brought to the ballistic section, somebody bringing it, what is the procedure?
Forensic science laboratory, who sections are entered?
When the exhibits are brought to the lab,
Yes.
it's either by the IO or the LCRC. They'll bring the lab to the exhibits to the lab, seal the evidence back, and they put them at the case reception where they receive the firearm or the exhibits. They put it in the system and they send it to the specific section where it's going.
Okay.
Umseshi ophenya lelo cala noma laba LCRC iletha ukuthi sesikhomele esivalisisiwe and then uma fika lapho ke kuyabhala ukuthi sifikile mase sibhale ukuthi sifikile sebezosibukisayo bazise la kule section esifanele ziye kuyona.
Thank you. Now, upon arrival at the reception section of the laboratory, of the ballistic laboratory, what is it that is being done to acknowledge the receipt of the firearm? For instance, an investigating officer takes in a firearm. What is it that it would be a proof that is submitted a firearm to the forensic science laboratory?
Njeke uma sesifikile kuleyo section lesibhamu lesifanele siyekuthiwani yini ke ezwayo uqinisekisa ukuthi siboniwe ukuthi sifikile lapho?
If it's the IO or the LCRC, you will receive either a copy or a slip that shows that the firearm has been handed in at the case reception.
Thina ke sowenza samukela islip esikhombisayo ukuthi spam leso samukela case reception.
Would that be the acknowledgement of receipt of the firearm by the forensic science laboratory?
That's correct. The receipt will be an acknowledgement of receipt of the receipt.
Thank you. Now, you went to Cleveland, fetched the firearm, took it to the forensic science laboratory, the ballistic section thereof. Did you follow that procedure as well? Was an acknowledgement of receipt also issued to you when you arrived to the firearm?
Kukhona inokwenziwa ukuthi kwazise ukuthi ngesela ubuye naso isibhamu ulandelile yini indlela okwenziwa ngayo uma kutholakala isibhamu lelo receipt ke lelo libhaliwe yini?
It's a different case. It's not brought by an investigating officer. It's not brought by I went to sign for it so that I can shoot the test. The firearm was already finalized at the lab. So for me to go and fetch it, it should do just a re-examination of the test on the same firearm. So there was no need for me to book it in at the case reception and book it out again.
Bengasadinge ukuthi lesi sibhamu lesi ngiphinde ngisibhuke ngiphinde ngisibhukele kuya ngaphandle ngoba icala ke lihambelana nalesi sibhamu laseseliphethiwe mina ngabe ngathatha lesi sibhamu ngifuna ukuzodubula bese ngimase ngiqedake lapho bese ngiyasiphindisela.
And it was not registered as a new case because I was already handling the case.
And futhi ke asizange sibhaliswe njengecala elisha ngoba bese ngilo ngiqhubeka ngenza umsebenzi kulo leli cala.
We have just mentioned, sir, that the case specifically for which this firearm was brought to the forensic science laboratory was finalized. It was closed. It was destined for destruction, fortuitously, allegations, allegedly, fortuitously. Then you stumbled across something that you wanted to match with the firearm. So the firearm, when it went out of the forensic science laboratory, it was only understanding that the case for which it was initially brought to the forensic science laboratory, it was finalized. So when it had to come for the second time, either to come as a new exhibit. I'm not so sure whether I was too long.
So
Okay, thank you.
But uma-ke lesi sibhamu lesi silethwa lapha emaphoyiseni sasesiyisibhamu nje esifanele siyosishatshalaliswa ngoba ikhesi ibisiphelile. Kodwa-ke uma sesilethwa lapha e-science laboratory bese silethwa phela ngecala elisaqhubeka. Angazi noma ngibheke kahle.
Yes. So why was it then not registered with the administrative section of the ballistic laboratory?
Manje nginike singabhaliswanga lapho la kubhaliswa khona e-laboratory.
When I went to fetch it, the firearm was at the lab. The tests were fired in the firearm, but the tests were not sufficient or for comparison. They were not good enough for the comparison that I wanted. So when I went to fetch it at Cleveland, I went to fetch it under the same case number of Cleveland, and I came back with it still in my custody, not sent by anybody, but still in my custody.
Mangelanda lesi sibhamu ngoba isibhamu esake saba selebhe esasesidutshuliwe kodwa-ke leso inhlamvu lesi sasidutshile sasingalingene kahle ukuthi singasinika umphumela ongcono. So uma singesilanda ngasilanda ngalo leli cala lase-Cleveland elasesetshenziselwe lona. So bekungasenaso isidingo sokuthi ngiphinde futhi ngilejiste.
But sir, is it not so that an instrument that gets into the premises of the laboratory needs to account through the administrative section that at this moment in time, these are the type of instruments that are in our possession? Should that not be the case?
Kanti akunjalo yini ukuthi uma kuwukuthi kukhona imibukiso elethwa elaboratory, ilaboratory ifanele ibe nokusiphendulela ukuthi nasi nayimibukiso ekhona esiyiphethe lapha elaboratory kwazi ukuthi inemibukiso emingaki lapha elaboratory.
No, my lord, if there was a new case registered under it, then I would expect it to be handed in that process, but there was no new case opened on that case.
Ngoba kunecala elisha elivuliwe elibhekwayo ngaso leso sibhamu, yebo kufanele kwenziwe njalo, kodwa kwangenacala elisha elalivuliwe ngale ngaso leso sibhamu. So akuzange sibe nesidingo sokuthi sibhaliswe.
I would not want to leave at this point, sir. I will leave it for arguments. Thank you. But I'm putting it to you that the procedure which you followed as an expert on the acquisition of the firearm from Cleveland into the premises of the Forensic Science Laboratory, the ballistic section thereof, was very irregular.
Ngizokusho-ke nje ukuthi-ke njengochwepheshe ukulandwa kwalesi sibhamu silandwa eCleveland siyiswa elaboratory. Indlela ekwenziwa ngayo kuyona indlela ejwayelekile.
No, my lord, it was not irregular. It was regular because the firearm was there and was only to shoot the test.
Kwakuyindlela eyamukelekayo ukuthatha lapha ngoba sasize lapha ukuthi nje kuyofuna ukuthi sithestwe. Kwakungenacala elisha.
Thank you.
Family, let's talk about MNISI, who has exposed Colonel Mangena. Colonel Mangena has been stripped his expertise to prove that he's an expert, but how he conducts himself, he's a law unto himself. So I just want to touch a few things here. And number one, let's look at this evidence of Colonel Mangena, who's a ballistic expert. One, he went to fetch a firearm, and reaching in that place where he collected the firearm, he found the seal was broken, but he still took the gun. That's point number one. Number two, he drove with the open forensic bag to the laboratory. He was not following any procedure. When he got to the laboratory, there's a procedure that has to be done when you bring a firearm or exhibit. It must be registered. He didn't do all those things. He's a law unto himself. In a sensitive case whereby the family of the Maiwa family wants to know who killed their son, he went further to test the gun himself. He shot 8 to 9 bullets. And the striations he was looking for were not visible. But he decided to come to a conclusion that that gun was the gun that killed Senzo Maiwa. Further to that, he went to prison in an instruction of Gininda to measure the suspects. There are 5 suspects. He went to measure them so that he can pin one on the scene of crime. Because when you look at it, what was the reason of him going to measure those people? Because he didn't even take the same accused to the scene of crime to prove and to measure and try to construct the scene of crime. But he failed. So, as he's doing this, family, then this reminds me of Gininda. Because this line is just the same as what Gininda is doing. That's why they want to bring Gininda at the end of the investigation, at the end of the cross-examination. So bringing Gininda at the end of the cross-examination, you see how they brought them. They brought Colonel Mangena towards the end of the cross-examination, and the last one will be Gininda. And Gininda was the sole investigator too. And this one was the sole ballistic expert who was dealing with the same gun. These things connect to show how they cooked this case. Because they cannot tell us that Gininda on the other side is a sole investigator, because every witness that has come to court to testify, when they were asked very crucial and important questions, they will refer everything to Gininda. Because they feel like if they answer the question, it will not help Gininda. I think they have been coached not to answer certain questions and always refer them to Gininda. Which it shows how corrupt Gininda and Colonel Mangena are. It is crazy in a country like this to have this kind of people who are low unto themselves. They respect nobody. Because when we look at the case, all this, even Gininda didn't go to construct the case, the scene of crime. He didn't go even to the family. He didn't even take time to get the people who were in the scene of crime when everything happened, to ask questions and everything. Every evidence that we have seen here, it has come from phone data, stain, and service provider, which is Vodafone. And all this kind of evidence they have brought in this court doesn't correspond. So I'm trying to show you how MNISI did his job here. He did a fantastic job to prove that this evidence that is being brought by Colonel Mangena should be taken in a pinch of salt, because all what he did, he was a sole person doing all this kind of analyzing the bullet in the laboratory. And he's the one who came with the final decision. He's the one who decided to go get the gun. He's the one who drove with the gun in an open forensic bag. All this thing. And he's the one who's still testifying. It's a lie. And the judge doesn't see anything wrong about this. So family, what is your comment? Just drop your comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to share too. Ngithanda noke ngothando lukalabo. Ngithi kini bantu bakithi yizwe lethu leli noma ngabe izindlu zodaka kusekhaya lapha. Let's deal with this until we win this case. Bravo, bravo.